How about it for our good friend Al, ladies and gentlemen?
Now Scarface Capone.
Being from Chicago, I'm a huge city history buff. When hearing a new movie was coming out on the world's most infamous gangster, Al Capone, and one of the best character actors, Tom Hardy, playing him, it felt like a match made in heaven. But boy was I in for a surprise. So before I get into this review, just note there are tons of spoilers in this review, so I advise you to see the movie and then come back and check this out. Anyway, let's get to it. Capone was released by Vertigo Entertainment US on May 12, 2020 via web services due to the pandemic and movie theaters being closed. The film is based around the later years of Al Capone's life in Florida after he was released from prison. Capone, played by Tom Hardy, is suffering from effects of syphilis and dementia. He recently suffered a stroke and is cared for by his wife May, played by Liza Cardinelli. Due to his ongoing mental state caused by his illness and strokes, Capone begins to become very paranoid with his men, family, and even his family gardener. He is in the process of losing his assets to the detective agent crime, and his family is left with nothing. Yet he is adamant about not losing his Lady Atlas statue throughout the movie. Another addition to the plot is that the FBI is continuously monitoring him and trying to find if he buried any money away, in this case $10 million. Now Al Capone will admit in the movie to his friend Johnny he hid $10 million but has no idea where it is because he can't remember it due to his illness. Meanwhile, to grow to his paranoia, there is proof in the movie that some of his associates are cooperating with the FBI. From his doctor to even his illegitimate son Tony, who is shown being pressured by the FBI to call his father. Capone is one of those movies that seems to dip in and out of reality, trying to leave the viewer guessing what is real and what isn't. Sometimes it works, and a lot of the times it doesn't. There are also certain scenes that are supposed to be made memories or hallucinations that are really never explained if they are real or not, so it's really up to you. The movie has so much potential but is hurt by the bad writing and certain fallacies added to the movie to create humor. Now I had a lot of issues with this movie, so excuse me while I go on a rant. My first issue is, you had an all-star cast with Matt Dillon, Liza Cardinelli, Al Spencer from The Sopranos, and the legendary Tom Hardy. Yet the writing is so bad that they can't really use their talents to the full potential. They have either bad or dull dialogue, and it really hurts the flow of the movie. Tom Hardy is known for his great portrayals of such villains such as biopics playing Charles Bronson in Bronson, Rory and Reggie Cray in Legend, or even fictional characters such as Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. So I was thrilled with him being cast as Al Capone, as he would be the second English player to do so, the other being Stephen Graham of Boardwalk Empire fame. So how did Tom Hardy portray Al Capone? Well...
Diego.
Yes, it's comical to the way he is portrayed in this movie, and I understand that there is no recording of Capone's voice from the time, but I mean, he sounds like Bugs Bunny. Also, speaking of Bugs Bunny, the movie in my opinion tries too hard for comedic effect. Whether it's Al dressing as a woman to get away from the police, or the fact that they make him have carrots instead of cigars to puff on. Yes, they have the most infamous gangster puff on carrots instead of cigars. And these two things were made up. Director mentioned they added a carrot replacing the cigar because he thought it would be funny throughout the movie. I mean, if they wanted to show him as weak, why not just let Hardy do it so with his talent? To me, it just looks ridiculous. One of the main storylines within the movie is a hidden money subplot, and it's actually been proven to be false, as there's no record of the FBI hearing of such money hidden, or even Capone admitting that there was any being hid away. I don't mind this as part of the story though, as I can see it adds some weight to Capone's mental state. In the end though, it is heavily hinted that the money was hidden away in his Lady Atlas statue. Wish somebody would have told Geraldo Rivera that.
I don't quite know how to tell you this at 8 minutes to the hour, but we found another wall in there. I wonder if I can get a deposit on a 60-year-old bottle.
However, Capone does have some upside. The story, although poorly written, does have some great visuals to it. The scene when Al wanders down to the basement and sees a bunch of people that looks kind of like a speakeasy party is probably the best part of the movie. He's invited up to the stage by Louis Armstrong, who sings Blueberry Hill as he makes his way to the stage. This is by far my favorite scene, and it has a lot of resemblance to Kubrick's Shining party scene. Another thing I like that they touched on was the fact that Al was having hallucinations or actually being haunted by an entity. Now, it is proven factually that Al was having issues with a person named Jimmy, whether it was in his cell screaming and fighting with the person heard by guards or other inmates, or even to the point where there's documents of his men rushing into his room just to see him on the floor screaming for Jimmy to leave him alone. Now, no one knows if this was due to a syphilis spreading to his brain, or if he was really haunted, but it's something really cool that was added to the story, so I really did like that part. To me, Capone was a real missed opportunity to make a biopic about the infamous gangster in his later years. To be honest, it's not a horrible movie, but it's definitely not good. If you're looking for a better fictional portrayal of Al Capone, I will look to the Stephen Graham Boardwalk Empire portrayal. If you want something that blurs the lines between real and fiction, you can do no better than Robert De Niro in The Untouchables. So I would skip the payment for it and just wait for it to be free. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.
No.